due to their announcement of their collaboration. So please welcome Karen Larson, who's a co-founder of Soak Pools, and HB Mertz from Harbor Saunas. Why don't each of you, Karen, you go first, explain who you are, Soak Pools. Let's give a little rundown to everybody, um, and then HB can go afterwards, and then we can dive in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Angelique, for having us. Such a pleasure to be on your podcast. Big fan of what you do.
Thank you so much.
Um, Soak Pools is a precast concrete plunge pool manufacturer, but we're so much more than a manufacturer. We are we're basically an outdoor living company where we work with people all across the US to help them install their dream plunge pool in their backyard. So we've been doing this 10 years. We make small pools for year-round use and love what we do every day.
Awesome. HB, why don't you
So
introduce?
yeah, we have not been along. Just we're just getting started. We are in our first year here. So what Karen and everyone's building over at Soake has been super inspirational to us. But yeah, we are doing prefabricated saunas, and we're bringing a more design-forward approach to the world of saunas in the U.S. right now. It feels like it's kind of a super mixed bag on what does it look like to build and design an outdoor sauna, and so a lot of it is in a response to the struggles that I felt when I was looking for a sauna for my own backyard over the last few years. So we are more or less a studio that are designing super high-end outdoor saunas that we think are going to look better decades down the road than they do when they're first installed. So we're thinking about all the small details and just trying to make the installation process super easy. But yeah, ultimately we're design forward outdoor saunas that can be up and running in a matter of hours. And it was really natural for us to want to work alongside Karen, and they're building over at Soake, just the process feeling really similar. And the stage that we're being brought into a lot of projects, there's just a ton of synergy there.
Awesome. Well, when you were explaining HB on why saunas, it was for your own backyard. That's a similar story to Karen, isn't it? As well. So you know, you both started something that you couldn't find at the quality, at the level that you wanted, and started this. How did you two meet? I don't mean to sound like a dating show, but
So we met because Karen was working with one of the sister companies that my manufacturing partner that they're involved with. So they were working over there. They're a partner in the business, and they said you should really talk to HB and what he's doing over at Harbor. And I actually had previously known about what Karen and Brian were doing with Soake because we had been looking at one for our backyard as well. So it was super cool when they had reached out and were just like, hey, we should just talk. And so I think Brian and we just like hopped on a call and kind of got introduced, and kind of one thing led to another. We realized how similar business models were, our clientele was, and the solutions we're trying to bring to the outdoor and the wellness industry.
well, and it's not just that it works well in the backyard. There's these health benefits too, and a term that I'd not really heard before. I mean, I'd heard that it was good to have, you know, hot, sauna experience and then go in the cold plunge. And I've heard of doing that, but I didn't realize that it's an actual therapy, contrast therapy. So, um, how popular is this therapy? Is it something that is more Scandinavian, or is it in the U.S. as well?
I can speak to our experience over 10 years, and in the beginning, people plunge pool still wasn't even a household term. Contrast therapy was something we started hearing about maybe 5 years ago by extreme health enthusiasts, I would say. And now I would say the general public is very well aware of the potential benefits from contrast therapy. So very much, it's definitely not a fad. It's definitely a trend that is here to stay, and people really want to be healthy. We look at alcohol consumption is down. People are looking for alternatives. There's good things about alcohol, the things that may be potentially negative, but across the board, we're seeing just a wellness trend. So this is the contrast therapy is one of those, and obviously that these two products work so well together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's a rhythm and a lifestyle in Scandinavia that it's just something that everyone does over there, and they view is normal. Like their social life is going to the sauna and spending that time there, and super normal for people to be doing cold exposure in the winter, whether that's just going down to the town harbor and jumping in the water, and so people are going back and forth doing that, and they haven't. All the scientific studies coming out of these areas, they speak for themselves. But this is just something that people in these regions have been doing for centuries, and so it's a practice that we're starting to just see people catch on to here in the U.S. or going to Scandinavia, that was part of myself going over there and having these
Okay.
experiences
Yeah.
and coming back and being like, wait, where can I have that here? And we're just on the forefront of that exploding. People, like Karen said, are not really going to the bars as much. They're looking for alternate ways to connect with their community, with their family, and like wellness is just becoming, it's becoming a trend, so to speak. So you're seeing people gravitate towards these experiences and figuring out, okay, are there places locally I can go, whether those are like membership clubs. But then obviously what we are focusing on, at Harbor and Soake are the experiences you can have in your backyard. So you can have it
Yes.
at your home, at your convenience, in your own privacy. But yeah, this experience is just, it's an exciting time to be working in this industry with where it's going. It's just, it's completely open. It's really cool.
Well, and now I've never been a frequent sauna user except for at the gym, so I can imagine it's a totally different experience in nature. Um, and and that's what you're bringing together is the sauna, the outdoor pool, whether it's cold or hot, you have that option. And how are you, because HB, you did mention that you're also designing the whole outdoor space. So, that's more than just putting these amenities in. It's about the flow of it. How are people, or how do you guys use the facilities like this, and how do you make the most of it in your backyard?
Karen, maybe you can take this one.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's such a personal practice, how people use their pools but specifically if we're talking about contrast therapy, if you think of the Japanese onsen, that is done. They do contrast therapy, and that's done with your community, and it's done naked, which is just such a really interesting. And they do hot and cold plunging as well. So I think. How do I use it in my backyard? I mean, I want to be able to get in there when I want to get in there. I don't want to have to drive somewhere, get into a car, and then go do this thing, and then get back in my car all dressed. I think the benefits of having this sort of experience in your own home and being able to practice wellness when it works for you, if that's 10 at night or 6 in the morning or on your
Mhm.
lunchtime break, it's just an awesome thing for those who can do it.
Yeah, not being tethered to, like Karen said, places being open or closed, just having that right at your fingertips. Something that you can create to feel just to be a super personal space. Yeah, that's what we're trying to really help our clients achieve is how do we help create a space that you're excited to use every single day. You're excited to be in. It's like the thing you look forward to. And you don't have to go find that elsewhere. You can have it right in your backyard whenever you need it.
And in your outdoor space,
Yeah.
and smelling the flowers and the trees, and experiencing the weather. Um, so both of your products are completely prefabricated off-site, and I think there's a lot of benefit to that, to the process that you've both built for contractors to develop sites, to help their clients have these spaces. Um, are you, you know, are contractors embracing that as a benefit to construction? I guess I'm thinking this is the wettest summer that we've had, at least down where I am in Louisiana. Um, Having your products prefabricated and ready to install surely is a huge benefit. And just wondering how that's perceived in the industry. Are people attracted to that immediately, or do they take a bit of warming up to do that, to embrace
It
it?
depends on the contractor. Most of the people, we have 1,500 pools out there, and people that love working with us, they come back over and over again. And the advantage to the landscape contractor to using a product like Harbor Saunas or Soak pools is that the project control is with the contractor, so they're not at the mercy of somebody else coming in and building something that they're overseeing or designing. So that is a huge advantage, and it's one thing that is attractive almost immediately to most people. There are some that would rather have someone else do it, and so but that's rare. We find that people really like working with the prefab product. And the beautiful thing about doing both a sauna and a plunge pool at the same time is that so many of the things that you need to do, preparatory, to prepping the site, to connecting, and all the same subs can be the efficiencies can be maximized, which is amazing. So
That's
that
great.
ultimately means more money in the contractor's pocket and a happier customer because the project will go really quickly, and those are both huge.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing exactly the same thing. And a lot of the response when we're telling someone what we do, who we are, how we work, how the process works is frequently like, oh, I previously worked on a project and had like a GC building a sauna from the ground up, and there were a lot of questions associated with how do I design this right? Like how do I do this the right way? And it wasn't a question of like, can I do it? It's like, of course I can do it, but is that where my time is best being spent on the project? And then if you
Yes.
bring someone else in who is a third party contractor who's maybe assembling on site, they're just another group of people in the way, more timelines that you're coordinating. And similar to Soak, with what we do, we can have your sauna up and running in a matter of hours. So it's been designed and built off site and shows up, and the install process is just super easy with the site preparation. So the response from people in the trades has just been unbelievably positive because we provide them kind of the framework to really look like a rock star to a degree. Like they don't have to even
Really
mention
organized.
necessarily that they're working with us. If a sauna shows up, that they had a hand in designing, whether that was we need to use the exterior cladding that the house was already working with or match the pitch of a roof, they can kind of look like they did a really great job helping design the sauna off site, and it gets brought in and just the experience is great for, especially for the unveiling, being like, oh, like the sauna's here, as opposed to, yeah, I watched this be built over the course of 2 or 3 months. So a lot of people like doing that, but then there are people that they like building the sauna and they're more DIY and hands-on, so they want to go that approach. But generally, the response that we're hearing from people in the trades is that just the way they can slot this in and view us as an additional contractor on the job, it just works really easily.
Well, and both of the products, and I say both, but there's so many. You have lots of different saunas, you have a lot of different size pools and options. They're still very custom, or they are custom. They're not like off the shelf, really. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just prefabricated like in a catalog that you you get one option or two options. Lots of different options to, like what you said, HB, match the house, match the the quality of the cladding and the quality of the tiling. Doing this all inside in a weather controlled or no weather to mess you up during construction gives you a quality product at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
very, yeah, very. I love that it's offline and love that it's custom. And it seems like a really great partnership between the two of you. Um, Tell me a little bit about. wellness tourism? Because that's a phrase that was kind of new to me, but it does make sense. But what are you seeing when we talk about wellness tourism? What's the market telling you?
Do you want to take that one first,
Yeah,
HB?
I can. Yeah, I can take it. I mean, what we're overall seeing is extremely similar to the personal experiences that people are going for in their backyard. They're just looking for it in a cooler location or for something to
Hmm.
be, worth spending that extra money on. So with a lot of the people in the hospitality industry or lodging boutique stays, we're seeing people that are looking for how can I increase value to my clientele, and then how can I get more people in the shoulder seasons? What can I do to help bring in stuff beyond just a check the box amenity, which is people feel like they have to have a hot tub, or even they feel like they have to have a sauna, but they go for something super low grade. And what you're seeing with a lot of the more premier hospitality places, resorts, in the region that we're working in, is a desire for something that is going to be really like an attraction, an experience in and of itself, because people are looking for saunas and wellness experiences when they go to travel. But now having a differentiator of, oh, this place has this sort of sauna, this sort of experience that isn't just, hey, they have a fitness room or they have something basic because they wanted to check the box that they had it. We're seeing a lot of people start to plan for the upcoming years. Specifically for saunas, it was something that um, last year, a lot of the conversations were, hey, we started to talk about it, but it wasn't like in our capex conversations. And it's really interesting because that's starting to
Okay.
shift this year. So we're seeing a lot of people being like, saunas on the radar for 2026, like the budget happening in the end of 2025. This year is like including sauna. So I think you're going to start to see these more boutique sauna experiences popping up across the board. I'm not sure what Karen's seeing from a cold plunge perspective. I think that that's a little bit maybe more niche, but we're also seeing them come in alongside the saunas as well. So looking to build the spa, looking to monetize that, have full contrast therapy experiences for their guests to actually physically book.
Well, and experiential hospitality is, obviously the new normal. So when people, I know that hotels or boutique hotels, they've got to create an experience. So if they want to stay, people no longer want to go to, or, when they can, they don't want to go to just a normal hotel, I guess, if you will, where you're in your room. So they want this experiential hospitality, and that can be a plunge pool, or it can be a cold plunge, or it could be, anything that is above and beyond what you would normally expect. And it's becoming, you know, for a lot of these boutique hotels, in order to attract customers and be able to charge a lot more, it's becoming a necessity. So they're looking
Yeah.
for what is that next luxury wellness experience that I'm going to provide. And these are two of, a handful. These are the two best options out there, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously,
so
yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that people are looking for it not just I mentioned like a check the box type experience. People are like really wanting like the best experience. It kind of only takes going to a resort or a lodge and being like, yeah, that was not a great experience there. Now I'm going to be a little bit more leery about
Just
the
anything.
criteria that I have. And
Yeah.
but when on the flip side of it, where it's you have a really cool experience, whether that's like a floating sauna on the water or something like really cool like that, that is that experience that you're like, let's go stay there. The extra money is worth it. We can do this as a group. It's going to have views of this or views of that. That's when the monetization starts to become a really big thing. And like Karen said, I believe that it's essential for a lot of these places as they're looking to the next decade ahead on how they bring people in and look to build their brand offline, do more direct bookings, to be able to have that discoverability in those viral moments on social, the things that sell at a PR level. I think they're really crucial.
And do you see the hospitality sector of your businesses you're offering being, driving a huge part of your sales, or do you feel like it's going to be equal to homeowners, or do you see that really scaling? Because it sounds like what you're saying, it's really happen. It's already starting to happen, and then there will be more and more pressure for companies to have these
Mhm.
experiences. Is that what you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, for us, it's a smaller amount on the commercial side right now, but just based on conversations that we've had over the last year, I foresee that growing quite a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if at a certain point it's closer to 50-50 with
Mm,
private homeowners, but currently it's a little bit less than that.
okay.
But I think it's just the conversations, and people are letting you know, like, we're thinking about this like much more seriously
Yeah.
now. It's something that is becoming essential.
And you guys were on the front end of it, so that's always the best place to be.
Yes, 100%.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Um, so, you know, HB, you just started, was it last year? I mean,
Yeah.
very, very new. And Karen, you said 10 years. So again, really driving the trend forward, which
Mhm.
is a harder place to be, but it's going to be so worth it. It is much more worth it. To be driving the trends. So, were you going to say something, HB?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean you're right. I mean, we've seen a lot of the market response to what we're doing be incredibly overwhelming at a design and a concept level, but there's still like this sticker shock that I know Karen can probably speak more to about how they address that and have slowly built over that. For us being such a new brand, and sauna in general, people are still wrapping their minds around like, wait, this can cost this much. Like I saw this one at this big box retailer that cost just a few $1,000s. Like, how in the world can it possibly cost as much as it does? We're seeing a lot of the market really kind of just like calibrate in a sense. So the more that people have these conversations and hear and understand why it costs that much. I don't know, Karen, maybe you want to give some context on what that looks like for you as you guys were getting started. I know Brian has told me just some stories or given some advice as well.
Well, I just think for the contractor, there's so much, there's a lot of money in it for them. So when we hand a project to a contractor, they're delighted to go close that lead because that whole project is theirs. As far as the sticker shock for the customer, we try to we're super transparent. We always have been. So from the beginning, right at the beginning, we say this is the price. We send a price list. It's all clearly defined. There's no surprises. That number one, builds trust. Where the project can creep is in the landscape itself, and that's where a really good landscape installation partner comes in that knows their clientele and knows how to gear the project to whatever that person wants to spend. People know what they can and want to spend, and if it's $500,000 and and they're going to spend that same amount whether they buy an inexpensive sauna or an expensive sauna, they're just going to put the rest of the money somewhere else. So I think it's finding out if we fit the need from the beginning, if we fit their budget or what they want to spend, and then the rest is, as long as we fit that, we're good. And there is no sticker shock. It's more like, oh wow, I have all this extra money. We're an expensive product, but compared to a gunite pool, we're actually a cost savings. So there's value there, but there's a perception, oh, it's a little pool, is it going to be really inexpensive? And then when they learn, oh no, it's actually pretty expensive because it's a high quality and we give amazing customer service, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
But
Yeah, and that's
it's the
similar to
quality. It's the quality that you build, the products that you're using to build, that all goes into it. But you're right.
that's right.
Being transparent and explaining that's how you work with good partners, is
Yes,
understanding
yes,
that,
always.
those details. Sorry, HB.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say it's similar to us that we'll hear stories from people who had a contractor spec out a full sauna build, and they're like, that's going to be, $80,000-$90,000, and then ours is considerably cheaper than that. So the more people just like having those conversations and understanding the value propositions across the board, that's where we win as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think a sauna, just like a pool, is a very niche product that you have to know how it works, the quality that you're building it with, everything about it. And so I think it makes a lot of sense to have, a high-end product that then the landscape business manages you guys, the on-site, I guess, connections, but you're able to specialize in the sauna, the airflow, the, you know, how temperature controlled it is. Same thing with pools, all of the different options on covers and, everything that you do. You guys can be those specialists. Do it off site, do it well, and have the landscape companies, be able to trust that they don't have to know everything about
Mhm.
every little detail, because you handle it. Gosh, yeah, I want one. Both. I want the whole system. Um, how do you incorporate? I mean, and I've talked to people that are Scandinavian, and they have this culture where you do sit out. You don't just jump in the pool, jump in the sauna, and back and forth. It's a whole atmosphere of socializing. And it sounds like HB, you were talking about how you are a studio around that. So you're creating that feeling with the pool and the sauna and that whole. It's almost like planning a party, isn't it?
Yeah,
If that's how they're going to use it, I guess it could be more of
yeah.
a just your household, but it could be for group events.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're frequently asking, it's one of the first questions I ask people when, we're on a client discovery call is like, how are you going to use this? How many people are going to be using this all the time if they're asking about like, what size should I get? So thinking about the context in which it's going to be used, then we can help work them along that process of designing their sauna so that it fits with exactly the way they're going to use it, where it's going to sit, where it's going to sit in relation to the home, in relation to the pool, in relation to, X, Y, and Z, helping them think critically about that experience is kind of, yeah, it's what we do.
Hmm. Karen, what would you recommend if someone is thinking about building their own backyard sanctuary? How would you talk them through that?
Um, Very similarly, we always want to know the goal and how they're going to use their backyard and what's important to them, and making sure they have a good designer, if appropriate, someone to help them design the space so that they really do end up with what they want. And we just get them dreaming. I mean, for us, it's I want to know how are you, what's really important to you, because that can sometimes inform the size or even something as simple as a tile color.
Hmm.
So, and the ultimate backyard sanctuary could be, it could be more than this. It could also be like, I want to have a pickleball court and I want to have all these different, it might be so much more than this, or it might be a really private garden and these two really wonderful items they can use. So it's all over the board, honestly, and that's what makes it really fun. What people's goals are. Yeah, it's really, especially the one that always used to baffle me was people that live next to a lake or an ocean, and you thought it's related to water, not the sauna. It's like, wow, we have the water right there, but it's different. We want to sit out at night and look at the water in our own backyard, and I'm sure that, and the
Okay.
sauna is very beautiful, so the aesthetic is so important.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're helping clients think through things like, okay, I want to, like Karen said, it's funny because so many of the projects feel so similar. We're just working with the client talking about, okay, pickleball is gonna be over here. Then when I come off pickleball, I want to go into the shower and I don't want to be looking at this. So how do we, think about the windows and the orientation of everything and thinking about the journey of you using your backyard space? How are you going to most use it? And
Optimally. Yeah.
yeah, and in thinking just about the designs that you do and you don't need to have when it comes to your sauna.
Hmm. Well, thanks for collaborating and bringing this as a system too. I think that you can add together, you can do so much more, and you can add so much to backyards. And I love that it's not just homeowners' backyards. It's also it's going to grow into an experience for hotels and Airbnbs, any of the spaces that people want to go to spend some of their downtime. So thanks for getting us all more
Yeah.
healthy.
That's right. I love that. That's a great way to summarize the partnership.
Well, is there anything else that you want to tell our audience? Want to, give them your details, your website. We can also put it in the show notes afterwards. So, but please tell our audience how to get in touch with you.
Go ahead,
Sure.
HB.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can look us up at harborsaunas.com. We have just our ready to go models there. You can come and customize right on our website. We have a number of design customizations, not an overwhelming amount. You try to keep it really actionable, but enough that, there's a lot of different ways that you can design it. And if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to someone. You can go and design and place an order right on our website. We tell you exactly how it works. But if not,
You're there to help too.
More often than not, people want to, just do a new project inquiry with us. We'd be happy to chat about your sauna project and answer any questions you might have. It's very typical. If someone's like, "Oh, I like this sauna, but can we do this? Can we do that?" The answer is yes. So you can find us there at harborsaunas.com, and you can find us on social at Harbor Saunas.
Great, thanks, HB. And Karen?
Yeah, I'll just wrap up by saying, depending on who's listening, if you're a landscape contractor who loves Angelique, of course, like we all do, but if you're listening to this and you're thinking you might want to get in touch with us to learn a bit more about how to install our pools and what that entails, we have a really great support team that can talk through the process, and our process is a bit more in-depth and a little bit more involved than the Harbor Saunas. So don't hesitate to call us. It's soakepools.com, S like Sam, OAKE pools.com. That's actually a Scandinavian spelling of the word soak. So you need the E, SOAKE pools.com. Give us a call, send us an email, and we'd love to talk with you. And if you're a homeowner, call us too. We can connect you with a contractor.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing where you guys are in the next year on the hospitality side of things and how much it's scaled. So, let's keep in touch.
Thank you, Angelique.
Sounds
Thanks for
great.
having us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.